Theo eyed his new surroundings curiously, noting the piles of unused tiles and pipes. Across what little floor existed, there was a sharp drop from which a blinding light and tremendous heat emanated. Besides this abyss sat... that bloody robot. Theo firmly averted his eyes from the robot and simply pretended that it did not exist. Theo focused on the path ahead, choosing to politely ignore the annoyance in the room. A shifting wall of energy was barring his progress. Perhaps turning off that strange machine would help. With the barrier successfully disabled, Theo was happy to move on and leave that robotic liability behind. Surely the killer couldn't be too far now. Entering another area with limited flooring, Theo wondered why all of these rooms seemed so unfinished. Maybe the... It was starting to look like Theo might have a tail. No pun intended. Oh, apparently Theo's new friend had some value after all. Theo regarded the newly risen barrier and wondered just how the robot had managed to cause this latest setback. Fortunately, Theo had the bare minimum of competence needed to qualify as sentient life, allowing him to fix the issue. Unfortunately, he could not stop the little robot from following him further into the caverns. Contemplating the state of the room ahead, Theo reluctantly accepted that perhaps the robot's help might be necessary. As he threw a disparaging glance at the machine, Theo noticed some worn writing on his chassis. D4Z. D4Z. D4. Daz. Dazine? Daz. Ooh, Daz. Daz isn't bad. As a loud noise reverberated behind Theo, he wondered just what he had done to be cursed with a trundling mishap. Though his companion seemed to be some kind of cosmic setback magnet, Theo had to admit, Daz was endearing, aggravatingly so. Overwhelmed by the heat pouring from the broken machine, Theo mourned the obvious failings of engineering safety standards. How on earth was he going to reach the elevators beyond this mess? Theo flinched when he heard the now familiar sound of Daz activating another switch. He cautiously opened his eyes and was pleasantly surprised to see something positive had finally come from this robot's help. Although he had reached the elevator, Theo couldn't just abandon his eager companion. There was a chance he could prove useful again. A slim chance. Very slim. But still. As the elevator rattled to a screeching halt, Theo found himself suspended on what could kindly be referred to as a rough and ready bridge. Or not so kindly as an invitation to a long plummet to certain death. Theo watched as Daz leapt gracefully down onto the scaffold to aid in his journey across. Considering the barrier ahead of him, Theo wondered if Daz could assist him once more, with the right guidance, of course. Theo found he quite enjoyed the company of the small robot, when he wasn't actively annoying him. The unlikely companions set off into the cave, ignoring the tribal warnings decorating the entrance. They were probably just for show anyway. The large chamber was filled with the clanks and groans of tortured metal, punctuated by the steady drip of stagnant oil. Faced with a seemingly impassable split in the floor, Theo stopped to think of a way around. Wait, did he just... disregarding the danger, Daz bravely leapt into the chasm to aid his feline companion. Surely he'd be fine. Stunned by the loss of poor Daz, Theo slowly padded onwards, barely noticing the more polished and functional walls around him. The only way to proceed seemed to be through a strange airlock. As he stepped inside and felt his hair begin to rise, he wondered if something was amiss. Huh? Ah! Ah! Well, thoroughly perplexed, Theo could only hope he wouldn't spontaneously burst into a cloud of electrons in the near future. Despite the lingering crackles of energy in his fur, Theo found himself occupied with a rather spectacular plume of fire between himself and his goal. With nothing to hand to bar the flames and unwilling to risk singeing his whiskers, Theo was unsure of how to proceed. There must be something he could do. Amazing! It appeared that the mishap Theo had experienced had changed him in some fascinating ways. Before another jet of flame could spring up, Theo slipped deeper into the labs. Hopefully the worst was over, but if not, these newfound powers could prove quite helpful. Upon entering, Theo noticed there was a bridge leading straight to the door he needed. A definite positive. However, a large section had decided on a career change and was currently enjoying its new life as debris below. Laughing in the face of those without strange abilities, Theo casually willed a path into existence. Theo quickly sauntered across his creation, hoping that physics wouldn't try to reassert itself at an inopportune moment. Once again, Theo entered a laboratory which would have been quite easy to cross, if not for the disorganized heap of crates cluttering the corridor. It was always something. Glancing at the important-looking hardware in the lab, Theo dismissed a feeling of déjà vu. There was no way he'd been here before. Oh, for the love of... Theo knew there must be something he could use to get these blasted doors open. Finally, Theo rushed through the doors. No! No, no, no! What happened here? Christ! They can't all be ruined, can they? I built this equipment! I implemented failsafes. Surely some of them must have made it! Oh God, no! It's all gone! What am I going to do? I can't stay trapped like this forever! There's no way I'll be able to start again with things in this state! And it's not like you'd be able to help! You probably don't even understand what's happening right now! Oh God! Lauren! Oh, well! Whoever did all this to me was bloody thorough! Just look, Theo! All of my work, every scrap of progress, reduced to bent metal and shattered glass! Clearly, whoever did all of this had some training. I bet it was MI5. Or maybe those umbrella-swinging secret society ponces! It's just their style to break into someone's home and trash everything in the name of Queen and Country. The bastards! Christ! This hardware's supposed to be hard to damage! Well, lesson learned! Don't buy from the bloody Bratva! Strong Russians steal my ass, Koskov! Ah! All my work! My genius! And this is how it ends? I can't even do anything! I'm just along for the ride on the Theo Express! At least our chances of escaping here alive are minimal at best, so I won't have to suffer this joke of an existence for too damn long! Oh, I don't know, Theo. Maybe there's still a chance. We could escape this place and start from the ground up. Even with paws, we could try, and there'd still be viable samples on the bodies back at home. Maybe we could still save her. But it would take years starting from nothing. Even if we did manage to collect viable samples, we'd have no way of storing them for that long. And I never found the chance to make a backup of her mind. I just can't believe she's gone. At least Joshua didn't get caught up in all of this. Who am I kidding? I'm not even me! I'm just a copy of Nathaniel's bloody mind squeezed into a brain the size of a tangerine! No offense, Theo. Honestly, it's amazing that we're both still alive in here at all. I've been hiding out in you for months without a body of my own. And when I saw him lying there dead in the house, I thought maybe I'd have my chance. Do you know what's really strange, Theo? The thing I miss most about having a body, more than anything else, is being able to wiggle my toes. It's bizarre. You'd expect something more grandiose, but it all comes down to the little things in the end. I would literally kill to feel a foot cramp again. Christ, watch out for those lasers, will you, Theo? Just remember, anything that happens to you happens to me. So this is all I am now? Just a disembodied voice in a cat. Well, it could be worse, I suppose. The earliest experiments were on lesser creatures. Could you imagine scurrying around here trapped in the body of a mouse? It doesn't bear thinking about. You wouldn't still be up for chasing down the killer, would you, Theo? I'll take that as a yes. Nothing like a bit of revenge to get the blood up. Come on, Theo! Let's go! I must say, Theo, it is quite a relief to drop the pretense and just talk to you straight for once. I couldn't just be honest with you before, you understand? I mean, what was I supposed to say? Hello, Theo. Don't mind me, I'm just a strange voice in your head. Now be a dear and do exactly as I say. My God! Why on earth did I make the laser units so skittish? I can't believe I managed to make them so alert, and yet so inept. What? That shutter should always be firmly sealed shut. Does this agent have no respect? No common decency at all? Get in there, Theo. I won't let this stand. I haven't been here in a very long time. Looks like the flora managed to thrive in my absence, but I can't say the same for the hardware. How on earth are we going to get around all that? Well, that'll do it. You know, I find it somewhat disconcerting how well you're taking to your new psychic potential, Theo. I can't deny its usefulness, though. I'd really rather not be back in this place. But if I will stop that damnable killer from making off with any more of my property, then I guess I have no choice. I remember this one. Something about self-pollinating crops. Really, who needs bees anyway? These plants have had more than a decade to muddle up the wiring. Looks like it must have shorted out the last time someone used the door. We may have to perform some impromptu repairs, Theo. That didn't seem to be enough. Needs more power. Nicely done, Theo. We might make an electrician out of you after all. I was so young and idealistic when I made all of this. It's almost sad to see it in ruins. Almost. Ah, the old hydroponics nursery. Lord, that robot must have been keeping this room running for at least a decade. Have to respect the dedication, if nothing else. Do be careful around those panels, Theo. I don't think that robot has any safety accreditation, and you aren't exactly shockproof. Watch out for those plants, Theo. I know they either cure third-degree burns or cause them. I just can't quite remember which. I was so excited just to be working back then. Doing just what Lauren and I had always dreamed of. So naive. Seems the easy way is out again. That vent over there might be an option, though. Lauren would have loved this place back in its heyday. I'm glad I kept her in the dark, though, considering how things turned out. I'm not sure what your... Ah! That's certainly an inventive use of your powers. Maybe a little warning next time, Theo. Just try to keep the acceleration within survivable limits, will you? Despite my growing disdain for vents, being a cat sure does give you a unique perspective on things. All this plant life makes it almost pleasant in here. You know, this is where it all started for me, Theo. Not the ventilation system, obviously, but the laboratory as a whole. I was trying to solve world hunger. Ha! Can you imagine? A word of advice, Theo. If the government offers to fund your research, it probably isn't worth it. They always take more than they give. Unlikely to be relevant to you, but worth keeping in mind. Christ, this place is completely flooded. I suppose you won't want to sit a paw in that. We'd best find a drier route. I don't like the way that robot is acting at all. It's just glaring at us. Good thing it can't get over here, then. Oh, this trick again. Give me a moment to brace myself. Now, why would you do that? Oh, bugger. Think the door needs powering. That was quite crafty of you, Theo. Well, let's get out of here. More flooding. Looks like this exit's jammed up tight too. Let's try slipping through the ventilation again. Theo, it would appear that there's another robot over there, and this one might actually be able to catch us. I'm not sure you'll be able to outrun it. Oh Lord, it's going to be very close! Ha ha! Excellent, Theo! That should buy us some time at least. That was a little bit too close for comfort there, Theo. If we could avoid situations like that from now on, I'd really appreciate it. What on earth are they doing? You know what? I'm getting to the point where seeing my own robots destroying what I've made is old hat. I can't say the irony is lost on me, though. Even though I hate a lot of things about this place, there was a time when I had to fight to keep it alive. The money men were demanding results, and Joshua was on the way. Seeing the rusted ruin it's become is unpleasant. Well, the years have not been kind to this place. To think, back when this was a lab, I used to spend most of my time sitting in the middle of that hole in the floor. This is where I made a major breakthrough. I'm not with World Hunger, though. I realized I could weaponize some of my research. You can bet the people signing my checks were far more interested in that. That is where brightpaw began. At the time, of course, it was just a necessary evil, a way to continue my work. A small slip that would be forgiven once I'd solved all the other problems in the world. Somehow I doubt the elevator is still in service. Up for another jaunt through the vents, Theo? The irony is, I actually figured it out. World Hunger, I mean. I was going to change the world, make a real difference to mankind. Best of all, I'd finally be able to share my work with my family. Then those bastard pen pushers dismissed me without a second thought. It wasn't perfect, but it would have worked. I solved scarcity and they didn't even try. Then I realized if they didn't care, why should I? It's all just history. All that matters now is catching the bugger responsible for all of this.